we really need to have a conversation about the social contract that underpins England as a civilization. Many people will dismiss this idea as a civic fiction, but I think that's far too hasty. Unlike many countries, England is in the privileged position of actually being a place where there is a demonstrable and ancient tradition of political liberty. This is underwritten by a series of legal and constitutional achievements that protected the rights of Englishmen in exchange for their support of the authority. The 1628 Petition of Right, the 1640 and 1679 Habeas Corpus Acts, the 1689 Bill of Rights, and the 1701 Act of Settlement all gave government in England secular legitimacy. It's this tradition that was argued for by the American colonists. While many English legal scholars felt that the rights of Englishmen only applied in England, the colonists argued the opposite. We can reasonably describe this as an actual social contract between the people and the state, and we can observe its formal germination at 1215 in Runnymede. Though English constitutionalism is doubtless an echo from the depths of the old Anglo-Saxon psyche, when the barons forced King John to sign a document protecting the rights of free men in England, something magical happened there. For the first time in English history, the power of the sovereign was circumscribed in principle rather than merely in practice. There was a place carved out from the king's power that the king himself was sworn to uphold. He didn't, of course, and it took many centuries to get what we would now recognise as a modern Bill of Rights, upheld by the governing authority. But eventually, the English managed a unique feat. We ordered the world justly, from the perspective of the free man or woman. The English created a world in which they were guaranteed security of property, trial by jury, freedom from arbitrary detention, and freedom from indefinite arrest. They created an order in which they could prosper irrespective of who governed. This is a remarkable constitutional system, and it has made England the model of political stability. And this proper ordering of the world began formally in 1215 with the signing of Magna Carta. And just over 800 years on, and a Conservative Prime Minister no less, has brought an end to the moral arc of English civilization. Government-mandated lockdowns are the clearest violation of the spirit of English governance, and Boris Johnson, an English patriot, was the man to put the final nail in the coffin of Article 39 of Magna Carta. No free man shall be seized or imprisoned or stripped of his rights or possessions, or outlawed or exiled or deprived of his standing in any other way except by the lawful judgment of his equals or by the law of the land. Nationwide lockdowns have ended this most important principle. No longer does a man have an innate right to what is his. That is, to be protected by the sovereign. Now, if the executor demands it, you can simply lose access to your property. And somehow, all of the barons are in favour of this arrangement, and we literally still have barons who are supposed to be the sworn protectors of these rights. This is a crisis of English civilization. It's become apparent that the political class has fully embraced a foreign belief in the legitimate scope of government. We seem to have adopted the continental view that rights are constructed by the state and are not imbued into us by our creator, whatever we consider that to be. And this provides government with unlimited authority and abolishes the formal limitations on governmental power. What this represents is the unravelling of those taut moral bonds that made England the envy of her neighbours. The rules that brought peace and prosperity to our country have been abandoned, with very little consideration, and it's worth remembering that the very idea of lockdowns originated with the Chinese Communist Party. This country is being ruled by a government that annexes to itself a licence to abolish the constitutional achievements of the English. Which European country would you rather model England upon? Where do you find more stability and good governance? If the government no longer rules by consent and has the power to deprive me of my liberty, property and happiness, in what sense, as an Englishman, should I consider it legitimate? As I said, there's a civilizational crisis that the English are currently living through, and nobody seems to have noticed.